Do you see your locks as a protective style? If so, what exactly are they protecting? And if you do think that your locks are a protective style, how far does that protection go? Keep watching if you want to know the answers to these questions. Welcome back to the Atreyu Locs channel. I hope you all are doing well. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos this year, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. As usual, if you have not already done so, definitely hit the subscribe button. And if you are already subscribed, be sure to hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I upload as soon as I do. So, are locks a protective style? Well, it would help to first determine what a protective style is, and then think about some other examples of protective styles for the purposes of comparing and contrasting. So a protective style is a particular style or way of wearing your hair to protect it from things like the environment and stress through over manipulation. In short, it's a hairstyle that you wear to protect your hair from potential damage. Examples of protective styles include cornrows, buns, twists, box braids, and pineapple updos, just to name a few. Each of the aforementioned styles is considered a protective style because the hair has already been manipulated when you got that protective style and won't need to be manipulated for several days later or even weeks later. Some protective styles can last days or weeks, and I've known a couple to even last months, depending of course on how well prepped the hair is. Now, there is some daily or weekly maintenance that you're gonna have to do, but it's nowhere near on the level of actually doing your hair from scratch every single day. Protective styles can protect the hair against improper detangling. So you're trying to detangle that hair, you're frustrated, and all of a sudden you're just ripping hairs out. You guys know with our kinky coily hair, sometimes it gets frustrating and you lose patience and maybe you kind of break some hairs just to get that comb through. So yeah, no improper detangling and of course damage done to your hair as a result. So protective styles can protect your hair against things like improper detangling, heat, your hair being out and exposed to the elements such as wind, which can cause drying, especially at the oldest parts of your hair, the tips. Knotting or hair snagging on various things, maybe some accessories you're wearing, or just getting caught on a certain type of fabric that you might be wearing. So now that we understand what a protective style is, I've given you some examples of protective styles, and you now know what a protective style protects against. Let's return back to locks and see if locks can be considered a protective style. So the first one was detangling. And obviously, yes, our locks definitely guard against detangling because it's a moot point, it's irrelevant. We don't want to detangle our locks. Our locks are locks because it's tangled or matted hair. So yes, it guards against improper detangling because no detangling happens. The second one is heat. And for this one, I'm gonna say locks somewhat protect against heat damage because yes, while we're not running pressing combs through these locks, I have seen people curl it with curlers, and obviously when you're trying to dry your locks, if you're using a blow dryer on high heat, then there's your heat. But still, it's nowhere near on the level of damage being caused when you compare it to someone using a pressing comb, pressing it multiple times a week if they have natural hair and don't use a relaxer. So yeah, I'm gonna say locks somewhat protect against heat damage. The hair being exposed, I'm gonna say yes, possibly. I mean, for me, normally I have my locks up in a tam satin bonnet combo. So yeah, it just depends on the individual locker and how they wear their locks. If you wear buns, if your locks are long enough to put up in the bun, then it protects the ends and the tips of your locks from being exposed to things like the wind or whatever debris is in the air, right? So yeah, it depends. And the last one was knotting and snagging. Locks, they don't protect against knotting. It's what we want, so it's a moot point. And then snagging, once again, it just depends on the behavior of the locker and how they wear their locks. If they have their locks up or down, and what they're wearing, if they're wearing a lot of accessories. As I just said, for me, my locks are usually up. So yes, if you wear your locks a certain way, it can protect against snagging as well. In my opinion, Having locks can be seen as a protective style because, in theory, having them should significantly reduce the amount of manipulation occurring. Of course, we know that many lockers take the same approach to their locks that they once took to their loose hair, in which case, oftentimes at that point, your locks really aren't protecting your individual strands. Also, if you're growing locks to grow out your hair with the intention of taking them out one day, be mindful of the fact that you're still shedding even while locked. How you cared for your locks matters, and how well the combing out process went will play a huge part in the length retained. So it won't be like taking out braids and then marveling over how much growth has occurred while you've had them in your head, right? You'll literally be detangling your hair, which can be a very damaging process, especially if you get frustrated. So to answer the question I posed at the beginning of the video, the protection of having locks only goes as far as how well you cared for them. Alright guys, hopefully this video has answered the question, are locks a protective style? In my honest opinion, I believe they can be, but I think ultimately it just depends on the individual and his or her habits. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section how you see your locks. Should they be considered a protective style or not? I can't wait to read your comments. If you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. This is Locs, and I'll see you next time. Peace.